We're welcoming into the studios a new state representative for Bradley County, or a portion of Bradley County, for Polk County, and for Meigs County, replacing or taking the seat which was previously held by our now sheriff, Eric Watson. Dan Howell, welcome to WTNB.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
These are mighty fine folk all around the center of the city in Polk County and Meigs County. Interesting night in the counties that you serve.
Yes, we felt good about our race, Jimmy, and I have met so many fantastic people in Bradley and Polk and Meigs counties in the last 8 months. This has been a long campaign. Everybody's tired. I know the voters are tired listening to our rhetoric and watching our ads, but it has renewed my faith in human nature to see how many good people there really are in District 22 and in District 24 where Kevin Brooks, my colleague, serves. And I'm just looking forward to serving these people in the State House.
And you have the opportunity, as you said, to serve with Kevin Brooks, who has a great reputation and a lot of respect in Nashville.
Yeah, he's the assistant majority leader.
That's going to be a great sort of step up for you, a step ahead of a lot of people who will be new representatives to have Kevin to work with. Let's talk for a moment about what the major issues are going to be facing the state of Tennessee and in particular our lawmakers. We've heard some talk about Common Core.
Common Core is a big issue. We talked about that during the campaign. It'd be interesting to see what happens to that in the next session coming up in January. Of course, what's going to happen with the expansion of Medicare, whether or not the governor will propose to expand that or do something different, is what he calls his third option. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Of course, the budget is always an issue, as you know, Jimmy, because we're so heavily dependent on the state income tax. And it was good to note that in the next budget cycle, we'll have about $300 million coming in from online sales, which we haven't had previously. So that may help soften the cushion a little bit.
Yeah, I think you said state income. You mean the state sales tax.
Sales tax. I don't mean income tax. No, I'm violently against the state income tax. I mean, thanks for correcting me. State income tax. State sales tax. I'll get it right. It's been a long day and my brain is tired. I will confess to that.
Well, of course, you know a lot of the people in the legislature and the roles that you've played in our state and our community for a long time. Executive assistant to the Mayor Davis and having to work with state legislators in that capacity. Is there a pet issue for Dan Howell that's not something we're talking about in the mainstream of things? Is there something that Dan Howell, in the back of his mind, has not even been asked about that you could share with us?
Well, I have to be honest and say not really. My number one concern is listening to the people's concerns. And you've been around the political arena a long time, and you know that the best legislation, in my opinion, comes when a lawmaker listens to what the people have to say.
Sure.
That's how we got the new law in the last session about the annexation bill. It came because Senator Bo Watson and Representative McCormick listened to the concerns of people in Hamilton County who were about to be annexed by Chattanooga without any reciprocal services being offered per se. And so they listened, and that brought about that bill, which mean that Tennessee joined the other 48 states. Let's see, there's now 2 states that still have forced annexation. Tennessee is no longer one of those. So I think the best legislation comes when lawmakers listen to the people. So that's my pet issue. That was one of the themes of my campaign. I will listen to your concerns, and I plan to do that.
Let me give you an example of something that you may not have known about. One of our local merchants was trying to offer a warranty on the sale of mattresses. And we had a law on the books in Tennessee which had been promulgated by some of the mattress manufacturers that said they couldn't. A local merchant brought that to the attention of our state legislators, and we repealed that law. It came from one person, and everybody looked at it and said, how in the world did we get that law on the books? Folks, that's a great message that Dan Howell's just shared with us. When you see something that you think's just not right or could be done better, you've invited them to communicate
with me. I will be the 3 promises that I made in my campaign. I will be accessible, I will listen, and I'll always be truthful with you. And sometimes it may not be the truth that you want to hear, but I'll tell you the truth. If I can't do something, I'll tell you that I can't do it, and here's why. But those are my 3 promises.
Yeah, what a nice thing to have this opportunity to share. You know, I'm a lawyer. I don't know all the laws in those multi-volumes books, and some of them that I do happen upon, we can change.
Right. We have an opportunity. I look forward to it.
Yeah. Dan Howell, thank you so much for offering yourself for service. One of the things I probably need to point out to the public through your knowledge, today's election gets the Republican nomination. Is that correct?
Yes. Today is the Republican, as of today, the Republican nominee. And normally it would go on to a November general election, but in this case I do not have a Democratic opponent, so by all rights and purposes I will be the next legislator from District 22.
Somebody shared with me that there's an issue that has not been addressed publicly. Sheriff-elect Watson will take office midnight, August 31. I've heard tales that you might be able to take office as the legislator before January.
Well, you may have some information that hasn't been shared with me yet, Jimmy, but I look back at what happened in the case with General Crump, Steve Crump. General Bebb resigned early, and so the governor appointed Steve to fill out his term because he was the one who was elected. As I understand it, the scenario you just described, if there is a vacancy, it's my understanding that the county commission in which the representative resides will step forward and make an appointment. And they have the option, I suppose, to appoint whoever they want. I would hope if they do that, and I would be their choice, but we'll see.
Well, you worked with most of those folks.
I did. I worked with a lot of them.
I'm not authorized to say anything about anything. I'm just telling you that I think that if you give some thought to that, I may have just shared with you something that you might not have even considered.
That's right. I have not.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Congratulations, Dan.
Thank you, Jim. Always good to see you.
Always good to see you. Thank you. Folks, this has been a great time for us to share something with you. Listen, once these elections are over, it's the beginning of your opportunity to assist these candidates in doing the job that they sought. And I know that Dan Howell will join me, as he just has, about the changes that you might be. Communicate with him. Let him know how you feel. That makes us a better community, a better state, and a better nation.